obviously because of the current industry and there's a lot of people looking for work, and I thought it'd be a really good opportunity as a hiring manager, someone who makes the decisions on who goes forward and who doesn't, to give a bit of insight on, what you want to see, what you don't want to see, how you tie that in with the overall aims of the studio. So when you get a CV through from HR, what are the first things you're looking for?
From the standpoint, obviously, it'll all be related to programming. We are looking for good mathematics, good programming knowledge. It's vitally important that you also have a portfolio to go along with your CV, and that's what we look for. It's the pathways for a CV to land on our desk are quite numerous, and a degree is one way, but then if you're a budding programmer that's taught themselves and have got a good portfolio and really pushed themselves forwards as far as making games are concerned, then that's a good way too, or through an apprenticeship, or through taking on internships, things like that. So it's really about looking at their technical skill level. If they have a degree and they've done a degree in computer science, or in games development, or in physics, or whatever it might be, then yes, that's good. But having that portfolio and that showing their capabilities and their skill sets online with, whether they've written a game, doesn't matter if it doesn't look great, doesn't matter if it crashes, doesn't matter if it's full of bugs, we don't care, we'll play them. Yeah, we'll download them and play them, but it's about having a full suite of information to say, this is who I am. And then, that will then they will then stand out and be pushed forward for a test, for the programming test. And if they do the programming test well, then it's an interview. And if they think they'll fit in, then they'll probably get the job. So,
well, we obviously speak to a lot of grads as well. And like, the narrative is always, it's brilliant that you're doing a degree, but that isn't preparing you for a job in the games industry. That's teaching you how to do some rudimentary coding and development. So portfolio is everything. What about the experienced coder, the mid-level senior lead? How does that scrutiny change for them?
For certainly for mid and senior level, we will make a judgment call on whether we'd send them the programming test or not, dependent on their experience. We would always look at their experience. We would always look at the companies they've worked for previously, their job history, and then usually mid-levels we will send the programming test to just to quantify and qualify their programming knowledge. Seniors, we take a judgment call on whether to test them or not. Usually it's a no, because if you're a senior programmer, you've got 7, 8, 9 years in the games industry, you probably are fine, and an interview will do. So I think that's kind of the way it works. But in general, though, from a senior lead principal programmer level, a lot of our applicants are referrals from people that already know people in the games industry, and they're looking to move on. Oh, I worked with them before. They're really good. That sort of conversations, because the games industry is pretty small, certainly in the UK and certainly in the North.
Yeah, and I suppose the bigger your team gets, the more of that network's going to grow as well, isn't it?
Exactly. So you can look at a senior CV and say, oh, they used to work at this place. Oh, Programmer X used to work at that place. Well, let's go and ask them. See,
let's have a chat.
Let's have a chat, and that's how it works. So that's where the referral system comes through, really.
So, in terms of like the detail you want to see on a resume CV, is it mainly length of service in place, where they've worked, how would that correlate with that? or do you want to see exactly what they've been doing, certain tasks, areas of development they've been working on?
I think this very, very high level. You know, we want to. You know yourself. We always talk about, you know, CV shouldn't be more. It shouldn't be more than 2 pages long. Sorry, and you know, that's a good thing. I know some people have got, you know, have got quite a lot of information to put on their CVs, but just a high level cover what they actually were responsible for. Because if they come into an interview, we'll drill down into that interview and we'll say, okay, so you worked on this game, you said you did this, tell us about that. So, and that's when we find out more information. It's about being able to scan through a CV as quickly, well, not as quickly, but as effectively as possible.
Yeah.
Because you get a lot of them and know that this person stands out or that person stands out. It's not that we don't want to pay attention to them, but we get an awful lot of applicants. So having a brief overview of your skill sets and a portfolio, we'll probably spend more time on the portfolio than the CV, obviously, but it's about that package. You stand out, and your basically your application gets moved forward then.